Let's check out a new batch of sports magazines from CGC. What's up, guys? So I've got another box back from CGC. We're going to do a little reveal video today. I have, I think, 10-ish slabs, something around there, and gonna show with you what I got. So let's jump right in. We're gonna start with this Sports Illustrated cover from 2017. This is the first Sports Illustrated cover for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this is actually a pretty tough one to get. This is a regional variant. It's a 1 of 2 variant. The other cover that week was Ben Roethlisberger. I think that Roethlisberger might have even been like the national cover, and that this was only regionally released in, like, the Milwaukee region. Don't quote me on that, but that's often what Sports Illustrated would do in their variant covers. It wasn't like all of the covers were um, evenly split every time. Sometimes the majority of the country would receive one cover, while a small portion of the country would receive another cover. I think that might have been the case with this one. But this is a 7.0. And I actually sent in 2 of these, and the other one that I got back was an 8.5. So I projected both of these at a 7.0. So this one obviously came back there, and then happy to see the 8.5 come in higher for this copy. This and on also I got some labeling here. If you are Giannis Antetokounmpo fans, you should be thanking me, because this variant had not been broken out in the census, and they had not labeled it yet as Giannis's first cover, and then they have now done both. So we got right here Giannis Antetokounmpo cover. That means that they are breaking it out in the census, and then right here it says first Giannis Antetokounmpo SI cover. So that is a brand new labeling that will now go on every copy of this issue moving forward that has been graded. Greek Peak. I like that little play on words there. Of course, he's nicknamed the Greek Freak. He is a 7-time All-Star, 2-time MVP. He is an NBA champion. He won an NBA Finals MVP. He also won a Defensive Player of the Year. I believe he's one of only 3 people to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. I think Michael Jordan and David Robinson also did that. That's off the top of my head without researching, so call me out if I'm wrong. There have only been 28 newsstand copies graded. I've talked before about how obviously vintage issues, super tough to find in newsstand, but um, they start to get a little more common in the 80s, definitely in the 90s, and even so in, the early 2000s. But in my opinion, once you start getting like, I don't know what the cutoff is, maybe past 2008 up to, right around this time, 2017, 2018, some of these newsstand copies are pretty tough to find, because you got to think about how the internet had taken over. Sports Illustrated wasn't as popular back then. I just don't think that there were, and it was well before, this hobby really boomed to where people were intentionally going out and getting copies graded. And so I think that this magazine falls right on the back end of that window where there just weren't a ton of people picking up newsstand copies of Sports Illustrated in 2017, and even more so since this is a variant that was only released in certain parts of the country. So underrated. Only 28 copies graded, and Giannis is huge, NBA superstar. At this point, I'd say he's comfortably moved into, like, what, top 30 of all time, and could be much higher. I'm not really sure. And he's still got some time to add on to that. Bucks have a great team this season too. Now they've added Damian Lillard. This 8.5 is a pop 4 with 19 graded higher. So most of the copies that are out there are high grade, but that's okay. I love Giannis. He's probably my favorite player in the NBA right now. So I will definitely be keeping this 8.5. The 7.0 I'll probably put up for sale. The only sales I could find, recent newsstand sales, was an 8.5, same as this one, sold in August of 2022 for $180. So there's that. 2 copies of the Greek Freaks first Sports Illustrated cover. All right. Next up. That's 2 down. This is from 1986. We got the first cover for Hakeem Olajuwon, newsstand, Duncan over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So this was actually a crack and resubmit. I bought this copy like 2 years ago as a 4.5 off of eBay for right around 50 bucks. And I was gonna sell it. Honestly, what I've been doing lately is I've been trying to find slabs in my collection that I can sell just so that I can create space because storage space is starting to become an issue for me. And so I pulled this one out and I was going to sell it and I started looking closer at it, as in its 4.5 holder. And I'm like, I really think that I can make this one look nicer. And I did. And I'll be honest, I doctored this guy up. When I resubmitted this to CGC, it looked so much nicer than before. And I'm actually really disappointed with this 5. Even though it's a bump and it maintains, sorry, my phone alarm's going off there. This maintains my 100% success rate in cracking and resubmitting. I still have upgraded every single copy that I've resent in. This went from a 4.5 to a 5. I projected it at a 7. I thought it was going to come in a lot higher. Now I will say that it's got a little bit of water damage on there. Now I thought I had cleaned it up really well to where you honestly can't even see the water damage on the outside anymore. You can definitely tell that it's there on some of the interior pages. And I think that's why they slammed me with the 5, because from the outside, I definitely think it's worthy of a 7, if not better. But they did note water damage in the grader's notes. So I think that's why I got the 5, but at least I got the bump. And I'm gonna keep this because the more I looked into it, this Hakeem Olajuwon cover is pretty tough as well. I didn't realize the pop report was still so low. There's only 12 newsstand copies graded. Now they're all higher than this 5.0, but you've heard me say it many times. If I don't really care if it's a low grade, because if it's a superstar and it's a first cover and I'm, one of only 12 people that owns a copy, then to me that's a pretty big deal. I mean, like in the sports card world, that'd be a huge deal. Um, I I'm gonna consider sending it in again though, because I still think it's worthy of higher than a 5. I'm kind of disappointed that's what it came back at. But anyway, sales, I only really found two newsstands. An 8.5 sold in August of 2022 for $400. And then, of course, a 9.8, the only 9.8, sold in a private sale in May of 2023 for $30,000. That's one of the 10 highest sales of all time of a graded Sports Illustrated magazine. So really great cover there with Hakeem Olajuwon. Beautiful cover shot from 1986. All right, next up. This is from 2007, and this is the first Sports Illustrated cover for Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Urlacher for the Chicago Bears. I love this cover. Waiting for Peyton. And you got Urlacher, in his short sleeves, probably playing in Soldier Field in freezing conditions. You can see his breath, because it's so cold. And it says Brian Urlacher leads the Bears out of the cold to face Manning and the Colts in Miami. That's why he's waiting. He's waiting for Peyton Manning. They went on to play the Colts in the Super Bowl that year. The Colts did win in what did I say this was? This was in 2007. The Colts won that Super Bowl 29-17. And that was Peyton Manning's first Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So Brian Urlacher is a Hall of Famer. He was an 8-time Pro Bowler. He was Defensive Player of the Year in 2005, and he played his entire 13-year career with the Bears. So he's definitely a Bears legend. He's one of the greatest defensive players in my lifetime. He was a phenomenal defensive player, phenomenal linebacker, and I've just always loved this cover. I think it is really, really cool. So let's see here. I projected a 9.6. I got a 9.2. I really thought that this guy had a shot at a 9.8. So I think a 9.2. And I'm gonna be honest, this whole box as a whole, I think I got a tough grader on this one. Um, I've been projecting my projections super conservative. Like typically my projections that I'm making these days are the low end of what I think a magazine will get. And man, I got slammed on this box pretty bad. Like that Olajuwon I just told you about, I projected a 7. I didn't think there was any way it was coming back lower than a 7. They gave me a 5. Urlacher, I went with a 9.6. I thought for sure this was either a 9.8 or a 9.6, and they hit me with a 9.2. This was a tough grader, which I've been getting some much more pleasant returns here lately. So I will admit this box overall was disappointment just as far as the grade. Still some great covers and some great issues. But this Urlacher 9.2, it's a pop one. There are 3 copies higher. All 3 of them are 9.4s. I thought for sure I was going to come out with the highest copy graded this issue with this one. Um, there's only 5 graded overall. So there's the 3 9.4s, there's my 9.2, and then there's an 8.0. One of the 9.4s sold in 2022 for $75. So even though I think it's a super cool cover, it's a first cover of a Hall of Famer, super low pop count, not a ultra valuable cover. Linebackers just never carry that much value in the collectibles hobby, unfortunately. I mean, if you're a Bears fan, I want this. I'm not a Bears fan at all, and I still think this is awesome. I'm probably going to keep it. Might put it up for sale. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, there we go. Brian Urlacher. All right, next up, 2008, one of my favorite covers of all time, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer. Now, this is a blank box subscription. As you can see, it is a CGC 9.4. This is the first cover for both tennis legends, 2 of the greatest of all time, 2 of the most beloved of all time. I find it very difficult to understand how anyone could not consider Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic as the 3 greatest tennis players of all time at this point. So I don't typically send in subscription copies, but I came across this one that was in phenomenal shape. I projected a 9.6. Once again, I thought for sure this was either a 9.8 or a 9.6, which was the main reason I sent it in. And they stuck me with the 9.4, and I don't see it. I just don't see it. This was just a really tough grader. I still love this. I have been of the opinion for a long time that a blank box subscription is highly preferable over a traditional subscription. Obviously, it's still not a newsstand, but I think it's one step behind. And I'm a huge Rafael Nadal fan, so I love this cover. Now, I do own this in a newsstand in 9.0. I used to own an 8.5 and I sold it. I used to own a 6.5 and I sold it. Um, and I might put this one up for sale. Not sure. Once again, I'm starting to have to be more selective because of space. So yeah, once again, this is the first cover for both of them. Federer was on 3 total US covers. This is the only US cover that Nadal was on. I think it's a major issue. I believe this issue came in like in the 50s or 60s for my top 100 most collectible covers of all time. Um, this is only the second subscription copy graded. The other one's a 7.5. For newsstand, there's only been 8 newsstands graded, 3 9.6s, 1 9.4, 1 9.0, that one's mine, 1 8.5, I sold that one 7.0, I pressed and cleaned that one for a friend, and 1 6.5, I sold that one. So sales 6.5 sold in September 2023 for $250. That was mine that I sold. I sold that to somebody for 250 bucks. The 9.0 sold in September 2022 for 526. That was the one I bought. The 8.5 sold in August 2022 for 510. That was the one I sold. So there you go. I'm kind of hoarding a lot of these. I have been hoarding a lot of the Nadal first covers just because I think this is a super awesome and underrated issue. So there we have it. Tennis epic. Greatest tennis match of all time. Nadal outlasted Federer over 5 hours. to finally defeat him on grass at Wimbledon. All right. What we got here? This is a nice one from 1987. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hot stuff. First and only Sports Illustrated cover. Why the heck can't they put first Sports Illustrated cover for Arnold Schwarzenegger? It's like one of the most obvious. It's one of the most obvious first covers. It's the only time he appeared on it. He's not even really an athlete. I mean, he was a bodybuilder, but he's not the traditional type of person who's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which is why I think this is really cool. You know, there's several similar examples over the years. You got Evil Knievel, you got Steve McQueen, The Rock is on one later on, Hulk Hogan, you know, guys like that are not, you know, they're kind of like on peripheral niche sports, but not the type of person that would typically be on the cover. And so to me, those covers are even cooler because of that. I projected this one into 7.0. This is a Pop 8. There are 8 7.0s, and there are 6 graded higher. And let's see, there's one 9.2, there's one 8.0, 4 7.5s, and then my 7.0, and then the only other one is one 4.0. So not very many graded. What is that? Oh, this isn't a Pop 8. Sorry, there's 8 graded altogether. Yeah, there's 8 graded altogether. And only one is lower than this, but only one issue graded higher than a 9.2. So these are pretty tough, which, you know, it's a lot of ink on the cover, red on the front, black on the back. A 9.2, which is the highest graded, that sold in July of 2023 for $800. A 7.5 sold in May of 2023 for $128. This will be a PC item for sure. Love this Arnold cover. Pretty rare newsstand. I think that was promoting a movie that he had coming up. Might have been called Hot Stuff. I don't think that's right. I don't think it was called Hot Stuff, but it wasn't one of his big movies. I do remember that. I can't remember what it was called. All right, this one unfortunately is damaged. This one was on the bottom of the stack in the box, and it got damaged. 1979, Magic Johnson, first pro cover, newsstand, CGC 4.5, and here's an example of CGC killing me. I projected this at a 7, a 4.5. Like, what are we doing here? They put that there was heavy staining on the cover. Well, they must be using some sort of special black light because I don't see any staining. This guy looks pretty decent. Like I said, I projected a 7. I mean, I know there's a few flaws. There's some color breaking spine ticks. There's, you know, a little bit of a corner crunch here. There's a little bit of color rub on this brown back. Gosh, 4.5. That's insane. So here's what's going to happen. So look closely over here. There's a crack. Break your mama's back. There's a crack. Got this whole get this whole side cracked right here. Here's what's going to happen. I'm not sending this in for a reholder. I'm just pulling this puppy out and I'm going to resubmit it. I am not satisfied with a 4.5 on this one. Even though this cover is enormous, in my opinion, this cover came in at number 9 on my most collectible covers of all time. I think the cover is incredibly awesome. I mean, look at that. Rookie Magic Johnson. Okay, this is in the first couple months of his NBA career. He's got the fro, and that font, you know, that's like straight just 1970s disco. Freaking cool cover. Really cool cover. And it's his 3rd cover overall. He was on 2 with Michigan State, but first cover in a Lakers uniform. Like I said, rookie year, led the Lakers to the title that season. He won Finals MVP, filled in for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at center. He's a point guard, and he started at center one game. Just awesome cover here. This is the lowest graded copy out of 18 newsstands. What's that tell you? Magic Johnson, ultra collectible, only 18 newsstand copies. Michael Jordan's first cover, and I'm not saying that Magic's on the same level as Michael as far as collectability. He's one notch below, but he's still elite. Michael Jordan's first cover from '83 has over 100 newsstand copies graded. And then just a couple years before, from '79, Magic's only got 18 newsstand copies graded. And here's another sign to tell you how collectible this cover is. There's more subscription copies graded than there are newsstands. There's 26 subscription copies graded. Whenever you see an issue that has more subscriptions graded than newsstands, that is a telltale sign that it's a super collectible cover. Obviously, there's tons more of subscription copies out there, but usually people don't send them in to get graded. They only send them in to get graded if it's a cover that they really want, that they think is really cool, and that's clearly the case with this one. A 9.6 sold in October of 2021 for $5,000. And other than that, there's been almost none, almost zero newsstand sales. There's lots of subscription sales. The most recent being a 7.5 subscription copy of this sold in September 2023 for $130. So that also tells you how ultra collectible this is when you got a 7.5 subscription copy selling for 130 bucks. Yeah, so disappointed with the grade, disappointed with the slab damage, but I'm just gonna pop it out and send it in with another upcoming batch because I think this grader had something against me. Maybe he watches my videos and he hates my channel or something. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with this, but it's okay. I'll give him a pass. Everyone has a bad day. And for the most part, CGC's been very, very fair to me with my grades of late. All right. I got three left. Three left. All right. So this is not a Sports Illustrated. These next two are not Sports Illustrated. This is kind of a unique one. Sometimes the unique ones are more fun. What even is that on the back for sports lovers? The undisputed leader in TV sports. WTTV? You guys familiar with that? I'm not. I think this was before ESPN. This is from 1977. When did ESPN come around? Like 79 or 81, something like that. All right. Anyway, this is from 77 Hoosier basketball. Hoosier basketball. That's pretty cool. Larry Bird. Larry Bird on the cover in his Indiana State Sycamores jersey. So obviously this is an Indiana-based publication. This would have come out right around the same time as his Sports Illustrated cover. It doesn't have an exact date on it. It just says 77-78. And that would indicate to me it probably came out heading into the basketball season for 1977, the fall of 1977, which is around the same time, like I said, as his first Sports Illustrated cover. It's got a few other folks here on the side. None of them are of note except Adrian Dantley, another Hall of Famer. He's on the cover too, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Found this, thought it was pretty neat. Early Larry Bird cover, and I liked it, so I got it graded 4.5. I projected a 5. Man, again, they got me. They got me pretty good. The only copy graded, obviously no sales. I might put this one up for sale. We'll see. If you're interested, shoot me a message. But honestly, by the time I post this video on my YouTube channel, which will probably be about a month from now, good chance it might be sold already. We'll see. All right, two left. Two left. Another non-Sports Illustrated right here. Another unique one. And this is from 1979. Also Larry Bird. Sycamore Magazine. Collector's Edition Larry Bird's Home Finale. Wichita State versus Indiana State. February 25th, 1979. In the Holman Civic University Center. That's pretty cool. Larry Bird cover. And Indiana State won that game, by the way, 109-84 versus the Shockers of Wichita State. Love this cover. What an awesome cover of Larry. Look at those high socks going up for the finger roll with his Indiana State jersey. That's a pretty sick cover. I'm not selling this one. I'm keeping this one. I like this one a little bit more than I like that Hoosier. Even though the Hoosier's 2 years older. That one came out in 77. This one came out in 79. This was only about 1 month before Larry Legend took on Magic Johnson in the NCAA title game. So how about that? Man, a lot of folks there in Terre Haute packing the stands to watch Larry Bird for his final home game. I would imagine that had to have been a sellout crowd. This is also the only copy graded of this publication. There you go. What do you guys think about those unique bird covers? I love to find like kind of one-off random publications of superstars from early in their career, like, rookie year, college, high school. I think if you can find those have some collectability depending on the cover image. All right, last one, back to Sports Illustrated. I like to say my best for last, and this probably isn't the most valuable in the box, but I think it's my favorite. I think it's my favorite, which is why I saved it for last. 1977, the bird is back. And let me just tell you, I do not care about Mark Fidrich. No offense, Mark. I'm a fan of Big Bird being on the cover. That is freaking cool. All right, now Mark Fidrich, kind of a flash in the pan, like a super successful, I think, rookie year, maybe even a super, maybe really good his second year, something like that. I believe he then battled injuries and his career was over within a couple of years after that. Known for his antics, I think he would like talk to himself on the mound, just real wacky, kind of off the wall guy, and kind of became infamous for that really quickly as a young player. And he was nicknamed the Bird. But once again, I'm a fan of Big Bird being on this cover. I think that is super cool. It's kind of similar to the Schwarzenegger and the Evil Knievel, like I said, except Big Bird, has even less to do with sports than those guys. It's like, man, Big Bird got on a Sports Illustrated cover. Heck yeah. And how about this? They gave me my labeling that I asked for. Oh, there it is. You can see it. First Mark Fidrich and first Big Bird SI cover. Let's freaking go. I am excited about that. That was really what I wanted. I don't even care that they put Mark Fidrich on there, but I'm excited they put first Big Bird cover. I projected a 7.0, so I hit that one right on. And Fidrich was actually on two covers. Only cover for Big Bird. This one came in at number 33 for my top covers from the 1970s. And I was very surprised that this is the first copy of this issue to ever be graded. No one's ever graded the Big Bird first cover? Man, that's nuts. That's wild to me. I don't know if that's because I'm the only one that thinks that's cool or if they're that hard to find. It might be a combination of both. So yeah. Now this one's got a tiny crack of damage, and I can also see a tiny piece laying in there. So I might have to send this one back by mechanical return. This was the second bottom one on the box, right above the Magic. The Magic got beat up pretty bad. Looks like this one got a tiny bit of the damage. So we'll see, but I think it's pretty cool. Love that Big Bird cover. All right, that is it. Thank you for watching. If you have not yet, please subscribe. And I appreciate likes and comments. Until the next video, see you next time.